Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be answering your questions. Thank you for all the questions that were sent in. I really appreciate it, and the questions were good as well. Like the questions were questions that I can answer in an informative way. Yeah, so let's get started. I've got some Battleground gameplay in the background for you. Just some Hunter stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, let's get on to the questions. Okay, so the first question is from FIFA Kamzi. He says, "Hey mate, I was wondering what add-ons do you use? What add-ons do I use, basically?" I will list all the add-ons in the description for you. I know there's a few questions about asking for my add-ons, and yeah, they will be in the description. Okay, so the second question is from Balls72. He says, "Do you think survival will be any good in PvP when explosive shot is buffed in 5.4? To be honest, I think that's just a bit of a ability that was buffed because readiness was removed. When readiness was removed, we obviously, you know, we lost a bit of DPS because of having it, basically. So what they've done is they've buffed a few abilities like kill command and explosive shots just to benefit that purpose, to compensate. So as much as it is nice seeing buffs, I really don't think it will change much. It is just a compensation for readiness being removed." Okay, so the next question is from Deadlytearz. He says, "Could you list the add-ons and macros you use in the description of your next video? And could you tell us if MM spec is going to be the top in PvP or PvE and why?" I will list my add-ons in the description, and I have previous videos of my macros. And do I think MM is going to be the top spec? For PvE, I don't think so. Obviously I'm not in tune with PvE a lot. I think in some platforms of PvP, marksmanship will be the best spec to choose. The reason why is because of the gear scaling with marksmanship. It's almost as if marksmanship has joined the bandwagon, and you know, the damage when you do damage as marksmanship, it really does dent the target, and that's what I really like about it. Okay, so the next question is from Kan Savsi. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Okay, so he says, "I'm worried about the Hunter PvP and situations in Arena. What are your opinions?" Now, I can understand if you're a bit worried next patch because of the whole readiness thing, but it is very hard to complain because we have been such a strong class throughout MOP, and by strong I mean overpowered. Okay, so there's a line, and Hunters have always been above that line. So realistically, you've got nothing to worry about. The only thing is that you may have to be better. You have to maybe improve, and as a player, you may need to do a bit more to win or to succeed. So obviously that's a good thing in my eyes, because of the for the people who rolled, you know, BM Hunter in MOP just because they were overpowered, they might actually need to knuckle down a bit and actually play a bit better. But you know, there's nothing to worry about next patch. That Hunter will still be strong, BM will still be strong, and it's, yeah, honestly nothing to worry about. Okay, on to the next question. The question is from Matthew Turner. He says, "Can I have your real ID or battle ID so I can join BGs and maybe do Arena with you next patch? Also, do you know if MM is getting buffed, or will BM still be the spec to play, the best spec to play?" What I'm going to say is I am not really up for BGs a lot, ever. I really lost interest in BGs just because if I don't have any reason to do BGs, then I won't. Like if I don't need honor or some sort of point, I just, there's no point, and I don't enjoy it too much. So the problem is, if I add you ask me to do BGs and I'm not feeling up for it, or I don't want to bother with it. So the real ID thing really doesn't work for me. I also added loads of people before, and it got really crowded. Like my battle list was quite crowded, and I had people asking me to do BGs, and I was like, well, you know, at the moment I don't want to do BGs, but you know, I don't like saying no, and yeah, I got those questions quite a lot. So maybe I'm just gonna put it at a maybe, but yeah. And your other question is that will MM be over BM? The real question is BM still going to be the best spec? And I think it will in some situations, but MM is now good enough to replace BM in some situations as well. So I think like MM for BGs, MM for RBGs, definitely MM for RBGs. And you'd play BM, say, if you're playing with a bursty class. I've said this before, but you know, in Arena, I think BM might still come out on top. And yeah, so I think BM really hasn't changed a lot. It's still a really, really good spec, and yeah, it may be on top, but marksmanship is now good enough to come into Arena and be the best spec for RBGs and be the best spec for normal BGs. Okay, so the next question is from Cavello27. He says, when do you fire aim shots? Only on procs, or are you ever hard casting them? I think you mean, you know, just normal casting. I always do it on procs, and I use aim shot in the opener, and that's pretty much it. I don't think there's enough time to cast the normal non-buffed aim shot in PvP. Okay, on to the next question. Next question is from Taizang Max. Hey dude, answer this: would you start from 0 in WoW if you got hacked, or would you find another game? P.S. I love you too. I would definitely start again in WoW. If my account if my account like got hacked and I couldn't get my characters back, I would just start again. Simple as, because I don't mind starting again. The leveling experience is really fun in my opinion, and once I hit level 90, it's back to the same old really, and I can carry on making videos. If you know, I've built up a nice channel here, and I want to keep it going. So I would, yeah, I would definitely level a new character. On to the next question by M671. I'm wondering about your race change to undead. My actual race is troll, and I want to keep, and I want to know if the ratio is worth changing as a MM hunter for 5.4. By the way, nice videos. Keep it up. Thank you very much. I don't know really. I'm thinking of moving again. As surprising as it is, I'm thinking of going Alliance. Reason is because obviously on my realm, Outland, Horde is really struggling. Horde is really dying out fast. So I'm just thinking about doing a faction change and going Night Elf, because Night Elves, they look so cool in montages. You have to admit they look so cool in montages. Anyway, back to your question. My advice to you is play the race that you want to play for the aesthetics. Because yeah, I don't think the racial will really be worth it. If it's just for the racial, don't. I wouldn't say do it, but if you like undead, like if you like the race, then go for it. And the racial's kind of cool. But if you want to stay troll, I generally think a DPS or a stat increase, a racial is better for hunter. So yeah, so like orc or troll would always come on top of undead and blood elf. So yeah, the next question is from Mr. Slice and Diced. He says, yo Deadlytearz, what do you think about hunters in 5.4 and what spec would you play? I think hunters are going to be much more enjoyable next patch. I think they've really gone in a different direction with hunters compared to all the other directions they went in all the previous patches. They just in the previous patches they just tweaked a little bit, and I think this patch they've actually gone and they've changed a thing. They've added another ability, counter shot, and they've added silencing shot for MM, and as we know, MM is a cool spec. So yeah, they've gone in a completely different and spontaneous direction, I suppose. So yeah, I have high hopes for hunters in 5.4, and the spec I'll be playing most is marksmanship. However, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm playing a bit of BM in Arena. Okay, so on to the next question. This is from Lucas. He says, how do you get away when you got a bunch of enemies over you? Well, generally what I do is, yeah, disengage, or I use rocket boots, or I disengage and use my engineering glider. There's plenty of ways to get away. And yeah, it's simple as that, really. A simple question, a simple answer. The next question is from Rala Posa. Have you seen Cobrak 17? It's amazing. Yes, I have, and it is amazing. It's a PvP movie of a standard that I would like to give to you guys, only but hunter stuff. It actually motivated me a bit to get going on a montage, because I really think it takes a lot of motivation to get that amount of quality out, and for me it takes a lot of motivation because I think warlocks are more enjoyable and more stronger in PvP. Therefore, it may be easier to get PvP clips. Hunters, I need to play marksmanship because BM is not. It shows very little skill, so I have to play marksmanship, and marksmanship isn't the best spec in the world, and most of the time it is very, very difficult to survive and to get by. So yeah, that's the main reason, but hopefully that will ease off next patch when marksmanship is a bit better, so I can make more quality montages like Cobrak 17 for you. But yeah, it was a really good video, and congratulations to Cobrak, because yeah, he's a good editor. Okay, on to the next question from Pulsework Black. Deadlytearz, what's your favourite healer class? Not to play, but to group with. Obviously, this is a very general question, and your preference probably chances based on comp and opposition, but I'd still like to know. Personally, can't decide whether to get back to my Pally, Priest or Shaman. Pally was my main forever, Priest was my main for 4 expansions, and with Life Grip is fun and trolly, but Shamis seem very strong, assist me in deciding. My favourite healer would have to be Priest. I think I played Priest in PTR, and it was a lot of fun to play. It was quite straightforward as well. It felt very smooth and enjoyable, and it was definitely a class I would like at level 90 just to hop on and do a battleground with. And yeah, I think it's also it's gonna be a very strong class next patch as well. So yeah, I'd definitely say Priest. Shamis seem to me very confusing and a bit of a headache. I don't really take to Resto Shamis that well. And Pallies, yeah, they seem straightforward as well and fairly fun, but not as fun as Priest. I think Priest definitely, for me, is my favourite healer. But not to come up against. They're a pain in the ass to come up against. Okay, the next question is from Lucas, but you have a very crazy second name, and I'm going to try and pronounce that. Cernaise Kurdia. Hopefully that's correct. Probably isn't. What is the most difficult class for Hunter in your opinion? The most difficult class right now for Hunter to come up against is Enhanced Shami, by far, because of their ranged abilities. I don't know what Blizzard are doing, but last time I checked, Enhanced Shamis were a melee spec, but I have tried to do a dual guide versus an Enhanced Shami, and it was impossible because the Shami wiped off about 60% of my health at range, and when he got to me, he did crazy amounts of damage. And not only that, but the procs from Healing Surge, he must have did something or other to buff his self-healing or something, and he'd just do 150k instant Healing Surge. I just couldn't keep up with it. It was just too much. So I think Enhanced Shami, a good Enhanced Shami against a Hunter is very, very difficult. Alright, on to the next question from the official DG polls. Why do you play Hunter, and what do you like about the class? I like Hunter because it is a different style. The style of playing a Hunter reminds me a lot of if you guys ever watched the very old school videos of like people like Brang and obviously Zumio's in there. Like, the style of Hunter PvP is a lot different from your average, melee class. It's very unique. I feel like there should be another one of a Hunter class type in WoW, but there isn't, and that's what makes it so unique. I just like the style overall, and also having a pet really made me want to roll it when I was like 13 years old and I started this game. I was like, wow, I want a pet. So that's why I rolled Hunter, and yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, okay, on to the next question. This is a question from DecideNet. Some of you guys may recognize that name. If you were working with the devs and developers, what one aspect would you change about the game? I think the one aspect I would change about the game, it's not really changing it, it's more implementing it again, which would be Skirmish Arena. I think Skirmisher Arena was an amazing feature where you could just hop into Arena and you'd be matched with anyone who was queuing for Skirmish Arena as well. It avoids the effort of saying someone, hey, do you want to do Arena, and grouping up with them, and then, you know, you might get a yes or a no. I just want to like hop into Arena sometimes, and I think Skirmish Arena helped me do that. Really, it was perfect. But I didn't really get a lot done in Skirmish Arena because it was back in Burning Crusade. I think it was in Wrath of the Lich King as well. And I did most PvE back then, but when I did do Arena, it was super easy. So I would love Skirmish Arena to come back. And the last question is from Mr. Honket. He says, what add-ons are you using? As I said, I'll list them in the description for you guys, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's it for the questions, guys. I've answered all the questions in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I answered your question to a good standard, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.